Testing, testing. Sounds good in your ears? You're good? Not too loud?
No.
Good.
Okay.
Good evening, people. Welcome to Trap No More Podcast. We are live. We're excited on this Sunday evening. It's a beautiful day outside. I know some of you are probably out there barbecuing and some even swimming and just having a good time with your families and friends and whatnot. So, hey, I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy Sunday to join us here at Trap No More Podcast. We appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we come on. And also, don't forget to share it, man. Be sure to share it. Share it right now. Hit that share and just send it to all your contacts so they could, get the content that's coming forward today. Today, we are blessed to have somebody, very special to the family now, man. I'm glad to have come across his path. It was by shout out to Irene, man, for hooking this up, man. Because it was like kind of crunch, and it was at a surprising conversation that your name was put out there. The face I've been knowing for about 4 years now, and it's crazy, but I'm not going to jump into my feelings yet, man, because it's really going to hit right now in a minute. But on tonight's episode, we do have a special guest, and his name is James Alvarez. So I'm just going to jump right into it, James. So your story is, I mean, it's been all over the news, YouTube. It's been all over social media and whatnot because I mean it's a hurtful story, bro. But at the same time, I know there was a blessing that comes from it. If you don't mind, can we just share a little bit through a video clipping real quick?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's always nice to kind of share my story. So, yeah, definitely tune in so you can get familiar with my background and where I'm coming from.
All right. So if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that video real quick.
The repeat drunk driver who struck and killed a
family shared their immense pain in court today. Orange County reporter Jessica DeNova tells us what they had to say to that driver.
I want you to see the face of my wife in her.
Speaking directly to the woman who murdered his wife, this widowed husband demanded the convict look directly at his daughter.
And I want you to see her face every single day. I want you to share the pain that I have.
Adeline Rose was in her mother's womb in August 2020. Her parents out on a walk in Anaheim when Courtney Fritz Pandolfi ran her Jeep into them, killing Yesenia Alvarez Aguilar. Pandolfi was under the influence of a drug cocktail, including cocaine and methamphetamine. The mother-to-be was 8 months pregnant. Her baby delivered via emergency C-section. With many in T-shirts bearing Yesenia's image, friends and family shared their pain Friday at Pandolfi's sentencing in Orange County Superior Court.
You have no right to take her away from us. Our family has to commute every single day past that crime scene.
You deserve waking up in hell. I can't forgive you because it isn't your first offense.
It's the convict's fifth DUI since 2008. This time, the judge giving Pandolfi the maximum sentence, 15 years to life in prison.
What we need are stricter laws and to maybe take away the ability for these early parole administrations and hearings to take place.
Though a tearful Pandolfi apologized for her actions.
This is not a day that goes by where I do not think about what I did.
Yesenia won't get the chance to hold the baby she prayed for, to accept the cosmetology license she worked for. A daughter, sister, cousin, mother, and wife taken suddenly. Her surviving husband hoping to use his tragedy to help other DUI victims.
I want to be that voice because I got something good out of this tragedy. I'm blessed for a beautiful daughter.
Little Adeline Rose celebrates her 4th birthday this August on the same day her mother lost her life. Reporting in Santa Ana, Jessica De Nova, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
All right. All right. All right, James. Oh, man. So before we get into that, though, tell us about yourself, James, where you come from, where you grew up, what it was like in your home, you know, in your younger days, and then build it up to where we're at today.
Man, honestly, like I haven't had the chance before I dig in. I haven't had the chance to kind of see all these videos. So seeing this is man, it's a different perspective. But growing up, you know, I was more of a calm kid. You know, I have a younger brother. Parents that, you know, very disciplined and old fashioned, and you know they're Hispanic, so you already kind of have a concept of how they raise us. So we never really been into problems, or we've been, you know, just kind of being good kids, you know, just growing up and having the good role models as parents, kind of leading us to the right path. And you know, went to school, went to how I met my wife was actually wanted to be a nurse first, but wasn't my calling. So I kind of stepped away. And then later on, I kind of was just like, man, I need to get into the medical field. And one of my friends just kind of told me, she's like, hey, you should be ultrasound tech. You know, it's a fast program, very challenging, and you'll probably do good. So I'm like, all right, let's try it. So I went to school, a trade school for cosmetology, not for cosmetology, sorry, for ultrasound. And that's where I met my wife. So we never really spoke. You know, I knew about her, and I would see her around like class and, you know, in the hallways and stuff, but I would never have the chance to like talk to her. And once I graduated, she was still there because her program still wasn't completed, but I completed mine. So I found her on Facebook, added her, and then I finally had the courage to kind of ask her out. And that's when we started talking and started dating, and, you know, it just kept moving forward. And then, you know, realized like, you know, let's take the next step and let's get married. And we did. We had a beautiful wedding. You know, what I'm very proud of so far is that, you know, we did things right. We got to know each other. We enjoyed, you know, we got married. We enjoyed our marriage. You know, we traveled. We really like connected in such a like deeper spiritual way. Like we were so like one. And that's what I always will remember, like the marriage I had with her. So it was so like meaningful, special. Uh, all our family were like rooting for us. They're cheering for us because, you know, we did things right. And I remember like 2 years, she tried to, you know, we tried to have a child, was unsuccessful. And I think when we changed our perspective of, um, I would say our future, it changed for us. You know, we kind of would talk about it, and we're like, man, wouldn't we love to have a child and stuff? But you know what? If it's not meant to be, I just want you to know that I'm happy to be with you. You know, I'm happy to be your husband, and she said the same thing. She's like, well, whatever God has intent for us, it will happen. And if it's just us, then it's gonna be us. So then when we change that perspective, like I remember, um, it's a funny story. Like I remember one day, like we're going to my father's birthday,
Mhm.
and she, she was like feeling nauseous, and I was like, and she was like, "Can I use the restroom? Like I need to throw up. I'm not feeling good." And I'm like, "Oh, something." She must have ate something wrong. Like it was just food poisoning. And I just let it go. But then that Thursday, she kind of like, she's like, "I have to tell you something. Like I just can't hold it anymore." And that's when she pulled me aside and she told me that we're gonna have our first child. It was the best news that I ever received, because that's what I always wanted. She knew that. She knew I wanted to be a dad so bad.
So for the 2 years that you said, you guys were, trying to have a baby and whatnot, was there any ever like medical attention where she thought that there was like she wasn't going to be able to have babies, or you guys never went that route?
You know what? She did check and they said like she was there's nothing wrong. So
Mhm.
it's so crazy because at that time, kind of side story, she wanted to kind of pursue other things. So I told her, I was like, you know what, you should, um, not focus on you getting pregnant. I want you to focus on your future. So at the time, like I kind of pushed her to become a cosmetologist because honestly, that was her dream goal. Like that's
Mhm.
what she wanted to do for life. And I was a person that always supported her in anything, even though her family was like, no, don't do it. You're not gonna make much money. But I'm like, just do it, do what makes you happy. So she focused on her school, but not really so much of like, oh, maybe we should do special procedures or anything like that. We're just gonna let it be.
Mhm.
And it got to a point that I remember one time, like that same week when she told me that she was pregnant, I actually had a physical that week. And I remember talking to the doctor. I'm like, hey, we've been trying to conceive a child and we haven't. And I even was like, maybe it's me.
Mhm.
So can I get checked and to make sure, because I don't want to keep her hopes high.
Mhm.
And yeah, I guess like I told him and he gave me the referral. And as we were walking out of the office, she was like, I gotta go to the restroom. And I'm like, okay. And then she runs back and apparently she told the doctor that she was pregnant
Mhm.
and not to push on the
Yeah, yeah.
referral. So
Oh,
so she
so
kind of
she
wanted
was already planning to surprise you.
exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
So she wanted to surprise me like in a group setting, but her morning sickness was so bad. She was just like, I couldn't hold it anymore. Like you're and it's true. I kind of realized that like every day she was like feeling nauseous and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep my hopes high. If she's pregnant, she'll tell me.
Were you thinking though that maybe she might like this is
Yeah.
morning sickness type of thing? I mean,
It was kind of like 50-50. It was kind of like I knew it, but I didn't want to just kind of get my
mm,
hopes high and then just all of a sudden like, no, I'm not pregnant. Like it's because it was constant. It was just like, oh
mhm.
no, I'm late. I'm late. And then we're like, oh, she might be pregnant. And then it
Then
doesn't
it would
happen.
come.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's why I tried. I was like, no, 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 just let it be. And I guess when she surprised me, it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. And what's so special about it is that um she's you know, we always wanted a baby to be healthy and stuff. I guess that's the most important thing. But when we found out we're having a baby girl, as you saw in the video, like we were ecstatic. We were ecstatic because she was the first grandchild in the family.
Oh, wow.
So she was the first girl. We already knew. We talked about it. We are just like, oh man, we just want to have a healthy baby.
Mhm.
But if it's a girl, she's gonna be spoiled. She's gonna be loved in the family, and it happened. It happened. She's the first grandchild, like granddaughter in the family, and she was already special. I think it was special. So
Before she was even born, she was already being spoiled. She was
yeah,
already everybody was already getting ready to give her all, huh?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was during COVID, like during all the COVID and the shutdowns and all that, like, um, but we're just blessed. We were blessed because, you know, it's I finally I was becoming a dad, and, you know, first grandchild. She was gonna be spoiled by both families, so we're super excited. So we knew how important our pregnancy was. You know, being our first and only child, and trying to conceive for 2 years and not trying, and then finally happen. We knew how important it was to make sure that we stayed healthy. So we would walk every single day. We would make that like a daily routine. You know, it was when I would come home. I was still actually working. I would still be able to work, so I would work from the office. So when I would come home, you know, I would shower, and then afterwards we would either make dinner and then go walking, or we would walk and then make dinner. So, but it was a daily routine.
Mhm.
We would go where we were living at. It was like a apartment complex. So behind the apartment complex, there's like there's a residential area. So we would go eat there, or like not eat there, but go walk there because it
Mhm.
was like quiet, safe. And the date of the accident, the only difference was that it's because we took a different route. We never went that route. We were She was already 36 weeks pregnant. We were gonna go um, check out a store to kind of prepare for her room for her arrival
Mhm.
for her pregnancy. So we're like, let's go check out that store, see what they got. If they don't see anything, let's take the long way around and end up going home. And that's exactly what we did. So I remember vividly, like I remember like it's like yesterday, the time. It was around like 6:30. We started walking, we're walking, and it was already sunset. And as we were walking, the shopping center, we're past after leaving the store, we're walking through the shopping center, and at the shopping center there's like a Taco Bell, and then there's like an insurance company like next door, and then there's a car wash. So as we're walking, I would say eastbound, um towards the car wash, we hear like large sound, like just losing control and swerving, and we actually hear people yelling. Like I guess people from that were there at Taco Bell made us turn around. So we turned around westbound, and we saw this vehicle, this white vehicle, just like speeding and then losing control. And as the car was like swerving, it swerved onto uh the sidewalk that we're on.
Mhm.
Uh, but yet it was still swerving like this, but towards our direction. So we didn't know like where it was going to end up going, but it was going towards us, and it was happening so fast. You know, like I said, there was like a Taco Bell sign. There's a electrical box there. There was like even a post, a wall, and we're just like, is it gonna hit there? But it's coming our way. Like we're just kind of in that moment. You freeze, and it's just you, in a sense, like panic. You don't really have the moment to kind of analyze what's going on, and it's such a blur. So we remember like we're just turning around and holding our hands, and I realized like as the car was coming towards us, um, I I didn't feel her hand no more, and that's when I like kind of opened my eyes, and that's when I saw like as the vehicle like took her, and it just happened like right in front of my eyes, like it just how she was trampled by the vehicle, and how the vehicle kept going, but she just was laying there, and um, I don't know, it was just so like unreal. I couldn't believe that like it was actually happening. Like I remember, I was just in disbelief. I, it was kind of felt like it was like a nightmare, like a dream. Like you're just expecting to wake up already. Like you're expecting to wake up every minute, like every moment, and it didn't. And I was just like I couldn't process what was going on, and just seeing her lay there, and I tried to like talk to her. I tried to CPR. I did anything that I possibly thought that I could do at the moment, and she wasn't responding. So I was just I just couldn't believe it. It's a feeling that I don't. I guess I just wouldn't wish that pain upon anybody, because it's like seeing the person that you see spend the rest of your life with, like, just instantly gone, like in a flash. And then on top of that, like, you know, being pregnant, like our daughter. So it was just so much going on at that moment that I couldn't just process it. It was like a blur. I didn't notice like people like around me. I didn't notice anybody. I didn't notice like people watching. I was like in such a in a moment, like I just couldn't analyze anything. And I guess like the paramedics finally I guess people called, but I called as well. And they're like, yeah, we're already having people, going towards the scene. We already have paramedics. But I was just ecstatic. I remember just telling them, like, please just try to see my wife, like, please, like, uh, uh you know, just in disbelief, and try to gather myself together and try to make that call. It was like the hardest thing possible. And when they arrived, like, the paramedics, because of COVID, they weren't able to take me, so they took her. And I remember just telling them, I'm like, please try to save her, and if you can't, like, please save our daughter. She's 30 weeks pregnant. Please, like, do anything possible. And they took her, and I was literally left there in her remains, not knowing like if she survived or what was her condition. And it was the hardest thing. And then finally her family came, and trying to tell them, it was the hardest thing. Like, I remember just telling them, like, they took her. They didn't know what I meant, but it was just like, what I was trying to, like, I couldn't put my thoughts into words to try to explain what was going on. And it was the hardest thing. And I finally was able to make it to the hospital. Right away, they took me to a small room, and I knew that it wasn't going to be good news. I knew that because they would have told me that I was able to see her at least, but no, they took me to a small room. I remember that. And I went with my in-laws, and the worst news that you can expect happened. And it happened in front of them, and just seeing their eyes, just trying to process it, was the hardest thing. And it took me a long time for me to stop blaming myself, because I always had a feeling like, as a husband, your job is to protect your family, right? You take that oath of protecting your family. And I felt like I failed them, and I failed her, and I failed everybody, that my job was to try to protect her. And I felt like I didn't. And just seeing them just break down, like, it broke me even worse. But then when they told me, but we're able to save your daughter, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, you just told me that my wife just passed away, but yet my daughter survived? Like, if she passed away, then for sure a child can pass away, right? Being in their womb. And they told me that they tried to resuscitate her for 20 minutes around that time. And when they failed, they did an emergency C-section. My daughter wasn't responding either. She wasn't responding. They had to do CPR on her, and were able to bring her to life.
Oh, wow.
So she's a miracle. Like, I always say, like, I'm blessed to have a miracle as my child.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't, she could have easily passed away, but she didn't. She made it. And then they were like, she's just not stable at the moment. When she is, you can be able to see her. So I was like, oh my gosh, like
all these
I hope she pulls.
emotions.
Yeah, like, I'm like, I just hope she pulls through. And then they're like, okay, she's stable now. You can see her. And I think it was like around midnight already. And I go up there to the NICU. Shout out to the NICU department at ICU. I mean, UCI, like, they're incredible staff. So when I was able to see her just laying there, and you see in the video, all the tubes, it broke me. It
Mhm.
was just like, how much like pain can I endure? Like, um, I was already thinking the worst. Like, my daughter's probably going to be, and with needs because of the accident, and she might struggle, and or might not even make it. And it's like, how much can I endure? Like, how much pain can I go through? And it's like, I lost my wife. Now I had the chance to lose my daughter. Like this, like seeing her, it broke me. Like, and but seeing her progress and in the NICU department, like how she fought for her life. Like, my daughter is like, oh my gosh, she's like a true warrior.
Yeah.
She's a fighter, and I can say that proudly because doctors were telling her, like, telling me, like, is she's probably going to be here for like 5 months. We want to see how she progresses. And and she had like the respiratory tube, like to breathe, and literally within like 3 days she was breathing on her own. They
Amen.
removed that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's breathing on her own. Like, that's a good sign. And then she kept fighting, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, we thought it was gonna be months. Now I think the rate she's going, you'll be able to take her home like in a week or two. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what do you mean? And at the time, visiting her, like, I'll be try to visit her every single day. So imagine going, visiting her, and then planning for a funeral.
Yes.
Like planning that. It was, to this day, I still don't know how I got through it. How I got through it.
Mhm.
But I was like, you know what? I need to be there for my daughter. So I suck it up. Like, everybody trying to reach out to me, and like, telling me my condolences, and then planning funeral, and then trying to make time to see my daughter. Like, it was such a blur. I feel like I never had time to heal because I was so constantly busy with everything going on that I really didn't have took too much time to kind of like um grieve. And I think that was like, sometimes my downfall to this moment, because sometimes I'll have my moments like bad, but
Mhm.
it's because I didn't grieve at that time because it was so constantly busy with everything going on and being there for my daughter. But seeing her progress and get better every single day, and the doctors were telling me good news, and it, I think I always say my daughter taught me the greatest lesson that I'll never ever forget, and that's, if she was able to fight for her life, then why can't I? And that taught me, like, that gave me so much courage, so much strength. I'm like, dude, if she's a fighter, then I have to be a fighter too.
Yeah.
I have to fight for my life too. And that's exactly what I, I made a commitment. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for my life. I'm gonna fight for her life. And it when I was able to take her home, it was a blessing. It was a blessing. And trust me, it was tough. It was tough. I respect every single parent that raises children on their own because it is tough. It is tough. So much respect to every single parent out there because it's a tough job. I think it's one of those jobs that you definitely need two people to do. And when they take on both responsibilities, much respect, because that's exactly what I needed to do. It's
Yeah.
I made sure to, like, not show my weakness. Like, there's times that I just wanted to cry, like cry and cry and cry, but I had her in my arms, and I was like, I can't pass this energy to her because she didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
She's a innocent child. So the pain that I carry, I'ma carry it. She don't deserve that pain. And I feel like, as a parent, like, you want to protect them as much as you can. So I said, I'll never share my pain because I don't want her to grow up with that,
Yeah.
with that, with that sorrow that yeah, that pain.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
Oh.
So I don't know. I guess I made that commitment. Like, I have to be like smiling, and
Yeah.
if you see like all the pictures, like if you ever go through my page, you'll
Mhm.
see like I'm always smiling. But don't be fooled by that smile because I carry a lot of pain. But I try not to show it because I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And I want her to be like one day when she's old enough, yeah, I want her to look at all these pictures, all the things that I done. Be like I don't know, a proof that no matter what life threw at me, I was able to overcome it and hopefully inspire her that no matter what life throws at her, she's able to overcome it just like I have, and give her that energy, that fire to be able to carry on and be a strong woman. Because that's my whole purpose now. My purpose is to make sure I give her a good life and that she'll be a powerful, strong woman. And hopefully try to I would say um I want to pass that baton. I want to be able to pass like my fight, my I don't know, my purpose in life now to her, that she's able to carry that on and to be able to move forward and make an impact in this world. Because I feel that I could have passed away too in that moment. I could have been dragged as well in that accident, but I wasn't. I'm here standing.
Mhm.
My daughter's, God bless, she's healthy and smart and oh, she's
Well,
my wife.
she's beautiful too,
Oh, thank
man.
you, thank you.
You guys need to, check out his Instagram and see his storyline, everything he's talking about right now, when you look at his pictures, him being strong for his daughter is very evident, man. I see like in the 4 years, I see you doing so much with her, man. And you know what? You're only a human as well, man. James, like you said, you wouldn't want anybody to experience that type of pain, brother. I can't even imagine, bro. And when I first heard the story, man, me like everyone else here in Southern California and nearby cities and whatnot, I mean, it crushed us as viewers, to hear about this, and I remember me and my wife being, a Christian couple. We prayed. I remember praying. We're like, man, because from a father, I have two daughters, bro. I'm blessed to have two daughters as well, and
Yeah.
I felt your pain, brother, and man, I was like, Lord, give him strength, and thank God that He has given you strength. But like I said, your tears, I mean, you have every right to break down when you do break down. It doesn't make you no less than a man or anything like that, bro, because you are carrying a burden. You know what I mean? And I don't want to jump to it though, but I feel like a little bit of relief may have came last Friday you know when that woman was finally sentenced and gave you just a little bit of justification, a little bit of you know, I don't know how to describe it, but at
Yeah.
least, it's like,
Closure of the chapter. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
It's you know, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for you and your family, and I would say the rest of the people listening and the whole community, because so many people reach out and they always told me, they're like, I'm keeping you in my prayers, I'm praying for you. And I'm a true believer in prayer. A prayer can save lives. And I feel like it did for me, because when I had doubts of, my daughter and myself, like, you guys' prayers like kept me alive, kept her alive. And I'm a big believer in prayer. And I just want to say thank you. And it's true. Like, I think it's just it was like a closure of my chapter, not my book, because I'm gonna continue fighting. And I like I mentioned, I could have been gone too, but I didn't. I'm still here standing, and many see me as like inspiration, and that was never my intent. My intention was to always be a good father for my daughter, and give her the best life. And a lot of people had followed me because of my journey, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm just being a father, but seeing people how like my story inspired them to in a positive way and be able to carry on. I realized that I think that is my purpose. I could have died too, but I'm standing, and I want to be able to use that, my second opportunity in life, I would say, in a positive way, and do something good in life. And when we finally got the sentencing, it was, like I said, it's a closure of my chapter, not my book, because my life still continue going forward, and this is not my end. I want to keep fighting for all those people that lost someone because of a drunk driver, or just lost anybody in general in the legal system, and feel like they haven't got the justice that they deserve. I want to be able to be that voice. I want to be able to use my story, use my pain, most of all, use my pain in a positive way. I want to be able to use that pain and turn that into fuel, turn that into fire, and be able to ignite something positive and be able to make an impact. Like, my goal is to make these laws stricter. I want to be able to, I would say, protect not even just my daughter's future, but anyone else's, to make this world safe again. And I feel like at this moment, like, it's scary, like, it's scary. Like, sometimes I'm even afraid of turning on the TV, because all we hear is just bad news, another life taken away because of a drunk driver, of a, you know, um, selfish acts. And it just breaks me. And, people always reach out to me. They're like, oh my gosh, did you hear about this happened to this person? And, I always try to reach out to them, and always try to kind of give my condolences, and let them know that, like, I'm here. Like, if you guys need any guidance. And a lot of people always ask me, like, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? And sometimes I don't know. Like, I don't. And it's just the only I found that in order for you to carry on, is you have to find a purpose in life. My purpose in life is my daughter, right? She gives me the courage and the strength that I need to carry on. So I always try to tell them, like, find a purpose in life. You feel like you're giving up, like, don't. Like, there's always a purpose. You just have to. Sometimes it takes you time to look for it, but there is that light at the end of the tunnel, and I know that for a fact, because I seen it. You know, I
Mhm.
I see that positive out of this tragedy.
Yeah.
And I just want them to keep fighting. But it's always nice to kind of be able to help people, be able to um guide them, and always tell them, like, unfortunately, there's no remedy for the pain to go away. Like, there's no cure for that. You just learn to live with that pain. And that's what I try to tell them.
Yeah. James, here with Trap Families, that's my goal and my calling, and what it is, it's a little bit different. You being a guest on here today, it gives a lot of hope to the families that I help, because guess what? A lot of the families are victims like you, but from the perpetrator. And what I mean by that, they're battling, like, they're not drug addicts, they're not criminals, but their children are. And now they find themselves in this predicament where it's like the pain. I mean, it's so similar though, because though you're the victim of what she did, there's so many families that are suffering with the same pain, from them doing something, because they have to live with the guilt. Forget about the girl, but their her parents or whoever, probably, I don't know. Every story is different. But to imagine the shame that she brought upon that family for her selfish actions, getting behind the wheel, not even just on alcohol. I believe she was on methamphetamine too. The original report said, right?
Mhm.
She was. So here she is partying. This was her fifth offense, by the way. Wasn't it her fifth or
Yeah,
something like
like,
that?
I think she was, like, dealing with the DUI already. And then which is crazy, because I didn't read much into it on her
Mhm.
story, because it just I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't want to, like, go through that pain of
Yeah.
just being like, she's the one that took my wife's life. Like, I didn't want to know nothing about her. So
Yeah.
I only knew, like, a little stuff, like what people would tell me. And
Mm.
what she was telling me, that yeah, she had like three or four DUIs. And then this time And they did tell her last time, like, hey, if you kill somebody, we're going to go after you for murder. She didn't listen. And what's really crazy, which I found out, was the day prior to the accident, because it happened on a Tuesday. I know that for a fact because Tuesday, that Thursday, my wife had to get her cosmetology license, which she was so excited but nervous to be able to fulfill her dream. But I remember that Tuesday because she was like, "Oh my gosh, let's go walking because I need to come home and study." And that Tuesday, that Monday, I guess she bought a car. So she had a revoked license, no insurance, and was still able to get a car from somewhere. And was able to get a car. And then the following day, the accident happens. So I remember one time, long time ago, like, my story, I guess, is so unique. It's unheard of. Like, oh, a pregnant mother passes away, but the the child survives. So
It's a miracle.
yeah, it's a miracle, and it's so uncommon. It's not, I think that's why, like, a lot of people, like, were in shocked. And my story, it literally went international. Like, it went everywhere. And even my brother, because he has friends in Japan, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, like, I saw your brother in the news in Japan. What happened?" So like, my story didn't just impact, like, just here, or it impact the world. Like, people were reaching from the UK, people were reaching out to me.
Oh, wow.
People, like, in the Middle East. I'm like I said, prayer is such an amazing. And what was so amazing is people, even different religions, they didn't care, like, my religion or who I was or where I came from. They didn't care. They just cared about, like, my story, and they prayed for me. I remember somebody even just, like, telling me, he's like, "I'm from Iran. Um, you know, I'm praying for you. Like, I'm praying. I know that we're different religions, but I'm praying for you because, like, that's how important. Like, your story touched me, and my prayers are with you." And that was so amazing that it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, like, what our backgrounds it's we're all human beings, and no matter what human being, we have that connection. Like,
Yeah.
it's touching. So to me, it was amazing. So a lot of people reach out to me. And I remember one time somebody reached out to me, and sometimes I don't have the time to kind of, like, just read all the messages and be able to respond. I wish I could. Trust me, I wish I could, but it's impossible at times because at the end of the day, I'm a dad and I have to take care of my daughter. So I remember one time again a message, and she was like, "I'm so sorry for my mother. She's been having problems for so long." And then she was just kind of apologizing. And at the moment, I kind of didn't register it. It was just like, "Oh no, thank you so much for your your love and prayers." But then I was like, "Wait a minute, that was from her family."
Oh, shoot.
So that was, like, the only point of contact I ever had from that side of the family, like, her family.
And this was her daughter?
I believe so. I think it was
Wow.
her daughter. I honestly, like, it was like I messaged so long that I just, like, got rid of them. So I never was able to go back. I'm like, "Oh man, I accidentally deleted it." But I think that was, like, the only um, message I saw from her side of the family try to reach out to me. Um, I didn't see her family, like, in trial, or, like, in the sentencing, or when she declared herself, like, guilty. Like, I didn't see her family. So I I feel like they might feel guilty. They might feel that guilt of, like, "Oh my gosh, my mother," and then on top of our story, like, going everywhere, like, they put
Yeah.
they put two and two. People put two and two. Is like, "Oh, that's that family." So um my intention is never to, like, bring harm to anybody. Like, no matter, like, what she did to me and our family and how it changed our life. I feel that people ask me all the time, like, "How do you feel?" Like, "How do you feel?" Especially with the sentencing. Like, "How do you feel? How do you Is it enough? Is it enough justice?" And I feel like there's never enough justice. You think 15 to life is enough to bring your past loved one back? No.
Yeah.
There's nothing that be able to bring your loved one back. So it's never enough. But we got the maximum, and at least I'm thankful for that. And I'm gonna continue fighting. Make sure that she stays in there, and that's not just for my I would say to make me feel good or my satisfaction. No, it's more of like I want to keep fighting to make her be there because I want her to. She's not safe for the public. Like imagine like her getting released and she's doing that again because I guess since she's been locked up since the accident, she's already been caught twice with drugs. So she
ain't changing.
Yeah, exactly.
She ain't changing.
So she's not safe for the public. So I like I said, I don't wish upon anybody to go through what I went through. So I would never want her to be in public and have the opportunity to take somebody else's life because I don't want them to go through what I went through. And I'm gonna keep fighting for that. But I'm at peace at the moment. I think it was like when I changed my perspective about everything was, I guess that day that we're supposed to go to trial. We're going to trial like that week. We're going to go to trial. And I was like, okay, I'm telling my job, I'm like, hey, I have to go to trial. I have to, be a witness. They have videos, they have audio, they have witnesses. It was preparing to like cut open that wound again. I'm like trying so hard to kind of heal and trying to move forward. And there I go. Like I had to cut it open, but it had to be done. So all of a sudden the DA calls me. He's like, hey, can you come tomorrow? I know it's the last minute notice, but can you come tomorrow? She's declaring herself guilty. Like she was trying to save you guys from going to trial. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I was just preparing emotionally for war. Right. And I'm like, yeah, anything I need to do to make my part. So I go, and I remember he's all like, you can speak, but just be mindful of what you're going to say, because if you kind of piss her off, she might be like, you know what? No, forget that. Let's go to trial and go through the whole like Baron. So I was just like, okay. I remember just telling her, I'm like, you know what? I just want to say at least, thank you for admitting to your mistake. I'm glad that you're able to acknowledge like what you did wrong. It won't fix anything, but I'm just glad that you're able to kind of acknowledge it. And after that, I was just like, man, like, trust me, it was like 3, almost 4 years I've been thinking about like what to tell her. Like I remember like there's so much anger that I had behind my head, like just wanted to kind of let her have it. And now that she did that, I was just like, it changed everything. And I'm like, what can I tell her? What can I say now? And I guess I just prayed. I was just like, you know what? Like, and I remember I always like, I would always talk to my wife for some reason. It was weird. It's like I always like when I was stuck in a vine, like I always be like, babe, like, what should I do in this situation? What would you do? Like, guide me. And it was always like that little voice in my head, like that was her telling me what to do. And it always worked out. It always worked out. Like, even I'm stuck, I'm like, oh my gosh, how'd I get through this? And she would, I don't know, she would guide me, and to this day, even though she's on the other side, she still guides me. And I remember that day, I'm like, I don't know what to tell her. Like, I don't know, how to feel. And I just felt like she was telling me, like, just be at peace. Like, I'm in a better place now. Like,
Yeah.
don't hold this and let this ruin your life. Like, don't carry this weight, this pain, like, of this woman, like, destroy you. Like, you have like a daughter that you have to worry about. And I was just like, you're right. Like, we're gonna get the maximum sentence, like the more I can ask for, and I just have to move on. I just have to focus on being a dad. And I found peace. Obviously, like, I still haven't forgiven her. Like, I still haven't got to that point, but at least for now, I'm at peace. So when that moment as you see in the video, like I kind of just wanted her to at least know. I wasn't there like to make her feel bad or anything. No, it was more of like I carry a pain with me, and that pain is never gonna go away. So if there's one thing that we're gonna share today, and that's that pain, is like I want you to feel exactly how I feel every single day. You're not able to. If I'm not able to sleep, I don't want you to be sleeping either. I want you to know exactly like the pain that you caused us and my family, and most of all, my daughter. Like my daughter will never get to experience being with my mom, with her
With her
mommy.
mom,
Like,
yeah.
and that what kills me. And I made sure that I let her know that day. I'm like, it's not really about me, but who's hurting the most is my daughter. She might not know it now because she's so little, but when she's old enough and she needs that mother guidance, she needs that little mom hug and the loving care of a of a mom. She's not going to be able to get it no matter how much I try to be a mother to her and try to be there for her and give her the guidance and love. She's always going to have that void because I'll never be my wife. I'll never be her mommy, her actual mommy. She only will have memories, pictures, stories from me, but never know the warmth of her arms and the love in her heart. And that's what kills me. And I made sure that she acknowledged that. And I don't know so much about like her family, how they feel. I'm at this piece that if they ever want to reach out to me, I'm open to it. Like I'm open because I feel like I'm Catholic and I'm a big believer in God and in our Savior, and I feel like we always have to forgive, and maybe there will be that point that maybe I'll forgive and let that go so it wouldn't destroy me. So it's always open to that. I just want to be uh, a positive inspiration, a positive influence in people, and hopefully that be able to use my, have my story in a more impactful way, and hopefully help people change lives. Even her family. Maybe by hearing my perspective, that change their perspective as well. But my main goal is to be able to be a good father and be an inspiration to the world.
That's awesome, James. I mean, I'm glad that you have, an inner peace. And I know every time you see your daughter, you feel your wife there with you, in some way, what I mean? Like, this is a part of me and your mom, when you look at her, we did this,
Yep.
and, nothing, I mean, nothing could ever justify, her not being there, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you have your daughter there, like your wife will always be there, you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Compared to both of them losing their lives on that day, you know what I mean? And I don't always understand, James, why things happen and why God allows things. I learned a long time ago that it's not God that does this evil stuff, you know what I mean? But there's a certain, he knows all things, and his
Yeah.
plans, for
Yeah.
our lives are perfectly planned, you know what I'm saying? And he definitely has a plan for you. And like you said, a part of that is being that great father today, giving hope, because I mean, your story does give a lot of hope to people. I mean, it breaks our hearts, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like, what? Like you said, life is going to continue, being a father and trying to help other people in their pain, you know what I'm saying? And that's part of the reason why I do what I do today, though, is because as you've seen in my opening video, I haven't always been a good father, a good husband, even a good member of society. I have a lot of bad in my life, and I understand the pain of my victims as well, and their families maybe not forgiving me today, you know what I'm saying? But we all have to move on in life, you know what I'm saying? And we try to hopefully one day this lady will see the light and be like, you know what, I did some really bad, I did a really bad thing, and it's affecting, a family not just you, your daughter, but her family and her loved ones, and it's just a ripple effect of what she did. But hopefully, she will learn her lesson from it and end up changing one day. And who knows, maybe she might even reach out to you years from now and apologize, and maybe it'll be then you forgive her, you know what I'm saying? But it's all in God's timing. But I'm glad though that you do have a peace, you know what I mean? Um, and what's going on. And what you shared earlier about you still have your moments where you break down, and you know what, brother, it's acceptable, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The burden you carry by being that single father and trying to work, trying to be a dad, trying to provide fun for her. I mean, that's a lot of juggle.
It is. Yeah. It's I'm like, it's tough sometimes. Like I don't even have time to go out. Like when I go out, it's rare, and I try to do good and stuff. Like I'm a dad all the time. Like I work full time, and shout out to my parents. My parents help me a lot. Like they help me a lot. They've been there in the trenches with me, especially my mom, So my mom been there helping me. Like she's been so much that like my daughter calls her mommy. Because I guess it's like, I always tell her, like, mom, hey mom, can you help me with this? Come on, can you help me with that? So then my daughter's like, oh, that's mom. So she calls her mom, but she always knows like her actual mommy. I always show her picture. I'm like, who's this? She's like, oh, that's mommy. And yesterday I did like this uh, walk for Mad, and I was wearing her her
Her picture.
paternity. She's like, oh, that's mommy. She's like, I was in her belly. And I'm like, yeah, you were in her belly. She's like, oh, that's mommy. So yeah, so I always try to kind of put that in her perspective, so she knows. But like my mom always helps me and stuff, so she calls her mom, but she's in the trenches, so she helps me as much as she can. She watches it while I go to work. But when I come home, I'm like, it's like clocking in. I'm like, all right,
Now it's time to be daddy time.
Yeah, it's and I always, even though how like exhausted and tired at work, I'm like always like, okay, let's play. You want to play? All right, let's play. So we'll play for an hour. And I would say, like, fathers out there, whoever listening, I can what one advice I would definitely tell you guys: just dedicate, even if it's 20 minutes of your time. I know you're exhausted, working so hard all day, but just dedicate 20 minutes with your child to just play, and just whatever they want to do. Like they want to paint with you, they want to color with you, they want to kick the ball, or whatever. Just dedicate at least 20 minutes. I promise you, those 20 minutes to them means so much to them. Like they'll forget that you've been gone all day working. All they care about, I'm gonna get those 20 minutes when he gets home. I'm gonna play with them and just play. And for them, it's like it's gold. You don't have to spoil them with gifts and all that stuff. Just all you could do is just spoil with them with time. And I promise you, like, you're gonna have such a beautiful relationship with your children, just by dedicating time with them. Because that's what I learned. I learned, like, just dedicating, even though I'm exhausted and tired, I play with her. Like I play with her. Like, oh my gosh, there's videos of her putting makeup on me. Yeah, like she'll put
seen it. I was about to say that you just had your hand out. You look tired. Like, okay, go ahead, paint my nails. And
Yeah,
just doing your nails. I was like, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, I was like, all right, do it. Go. Like, I remember I had to go to like Target to buy like makeup remover. I'm like, where's your makeup remover? They're looking at me weird, like, because I'm carrying my baby and her and my baby, and then it's me, and I'm not asking for like makeup. Because last time, remember we were playing, and she found like my wife's old makeup, which, by the way, I kept everything from her. So I kept my wife's clothes, makeup, shoes. Like I kept everything because I wanted to make sure that when she's old enough that she can go through that stuff. And knowing my daughter, if she's half of my wife is gonna she's gonna appreciate that. She's gonna appreciate, like, oh my gosh, this is her clothes. She's gonna wear it proudly. And even maybe fashion or always changes, she's gonna find a way to rock it and to be proud of that. So that's why I kept her makeup, even though I know makeup expires. I know that. um, I wanted her to kind of know what she was into, so she can have a sense of like who she was. So one time she found the makeup and she's like, "Oh, let's play," and I'm like, "I don't know, like it's expired,
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? So I let her play. Right? She's playing. Oh my! The next day, my face was burning.
Oh,
Burning
wow.
because it was expired and my face was like lit up, and she's like, the next day she's like, let's play again. I'm like, nope,
We're gonna
nope,
go get some
nope.
fresh makeup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we're
let's
gonna
get
go.
some fresh makeup. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do something like for daddy's skin, because man, it was
burn.
I remember like it was like oh, it was, yeah, it was pretty bad. And we go to Target and I'm like, well, let's buy her like whatever makeup and she can play with it. I'm over here like the makeup aisle, like, oh, I need some foundation, or let's get some concealer, or let's get eyeshadow. Which, by the way, my wife was really into makeup, so
Mm.
she would watch her YouTube videos while I'd be like in bed playing video games, and I would hear her little YouTube makeup tutorials. So then I would learn learn all the makeup process. So when picking up makeup, I was like, oh, we need this, we need that. So then, she'll play with it. And like I said, like I dedicate time, like I know for her it's gold for her. Like she
Yeah.
means like that little me time with daddy, it means a lot to her. So
Yeah.
we'll play makeup, we'll play tea parties, we'll kick the ball. And I always say, I'm like, oh man, like, do you need to have a son to play catch? No, a girl can do that too. So for me, it's like we'll do everything. We'll go outside. We'll go on the weekends. We go to Disneyland, because I mean I love Disneyland. So I want her to grow up loving what I went growing up. So
Mm.
I try to share like the special things. And by the way, like my wife used to work at Disneyland, so it's another special thing, a
Mm.
special place, because she actually worked in the main gate. So a lot of people in main gates so like sees us and recognizes, like, oh my gosh, hi. And it's really nice to see people and be acknowledged, like, of my story and how impactful it's been for them. So it's really
Yeah.
nice. So if anybody ever sees me, say hi. I'm open to always meeting you guys and in kind of giving back, and being thankful for the love and support. But yeah, it's been a great journey. It's been a blessing. And I hope that I'm able to inspire, like I always say, inspire and help people. And
That's
and
cool.
yeah,
Hey,
purpose.
hey, James, let me ask you something. Did you ever have little sisters? Do you have little sisters? I mean, any other
No, just a younger brother. Just a
younger
younger
brother?
brother. Yeah, yeah.
So
It's always been
what's
that
it
thing.
like learning how to comb her hair and you know what what has that been like?
Man, I'm telling you, it's I remember when, like, my wife, when she was pregnant, I was like, babe, I'll do anything, just not change diapers. Like,
Mm.
I'll even pay you to not do diapers. Like, that's what I was, because not because I didn't want to. It was more like, I know women is more sensitive, so you have to make sure. And that's like, and I told her, I was like, I don't want to mess up, and then all of a sudden be like, dang, like I'm the one that messed up, like.
Yeah.
And she would laugh about it, and I'm like, I'll do everything. I'll do everything. You just not diapers. She's like, okay, but like I want to say, uh, UCI, like, they helped me. So when she was at the NICU, like, she was like, the nurses, they're like, come here, no, you're gonna learn how to change diapers. And I'm like, okay. So there, I remember changing diapers, and there was one time, I think it was like my second or third time, she went to the restroom, and it exploded. Like,
Oh,
man, I was changing that diaper, and it was like, boom, like all across the machines. I was like, oh no, I'm like trying to clean it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get charged for this like machine that's probably worth like a lot of money. And man, she had an explosion. Like, it was so bad. I'm like, okay, I guess that's the worst that can ever happen, right? So ever since then, I was like, man, if I can handle that, it's cool. So I think it's you learn, like, when it's your own child, like, it don't matter. It don't matter, because it's like it's part of you. So it's just like, oh, okay, it's like myself. It's like cleaning myself. So
mm.
for me, it changed my perspective. So man, I became a pro at changing diapers, by the way, like pro. Like I was just like boom, boom, boom. All right, let's go. Like I became a pro at it. So I think it's just I took those challenges because I felt like I always wanted to be a dad. I always wanted to be a father. I always wanted to have that blessing of having a child. Now I have the blessing.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, can't back up now. You know, I wanted this. So now I can't back
Yeah.
down. And I'm gonna take this and make the best of it. And that's exactly what I did. So yeah, learning how to like change a diaper, combing her hair. Like I'm watching YouTube videos right now, like because her hair is long enough
Mhm.
to do like those crazy tail, like
Oh,
all
the
those
French
beautiful, like
braids
yeah,
and all
French
that.
braids and all those. Still, I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm
Yeah.
still learning, but I'm doing it. I'm putting in the work because that's what it. I think that's what as a parent, like as a parent, you have to put in that work. Like you have to. I don't want to say like a job, but it's kind of like that. It's like any job. Like you want to move up in that job, you got to put in that work, and that's exactly as a parenting. You have to put in that work. You have to dedicate yourself, and yeah, like I think I took those challenges. I'm like, all right, cool. It's only me. It's only myself. Like I don't have anybody to rely on. You know, like I don't
Mhm.
have, my partner with me. You know, all I could do is just do the best that I possibly can, and I don't know. So far, so far, I've been holding up, and like I guess seeing her healthy and beautiful and happy. I mean that's a testament of that I'm doing my best and being a good dad that I possibly can.
That's right. That's right. So I know you mentioned this other chapter closing with her sentencing. There's another chapter getting ready to open though. As far as she's getting ready to go into kindergarten, is it going to be next year? This next September?
No, she's actually gonna start pre-K,
Oh, pre-K
pre-K in August.
in
Yeah,
August.
yeah,
Okay,
pre-K.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's going to be a whole new experience for you and your daughter in school and everything.
yeah. It's really exciting to see her because she's such a social butterfly. She's such like she'll give like she'll see people like randomly and she'll be like hug and she'll give hugs like she'll give
Mm,
hugs kids she like loves playing with them and some and I don't blame all parents and stuff but like I guess it's with now society within us overcoming COVID a lot of parents are like no like let's keep our distance and my daughter doesn't understand that
yeah.
concept sometimes like and she's
Mhm.
just trying to be friendly she's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to spread the love and some kids are like no like what are you doing but it's really nice to see that to see a child be so open and freely and loving and caring like how she is despite not having her mommy or despite what we went through and to see that like her be so loving like it's truly awesome so I'm really excited for her to go to school. I know she's gonna love being with her kids and with other kids and playing and stuff so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that chapter. um, I'm just excited for a lot of future things, just being more involved with the community. I'm trying to be more involved. Like yesterday, I went on a hike for MAD, and I want to be more involved. So I'm also working with the DA, and hopefully that I can be able to make an impact. My uh, my next thing that I want to try to tackle, I think I forget what's it. I don't want to butcher the name, but it's pretty much a law that they passed or they have in Texas, which is the defendant or the criminal that killed somebody in the drunk driving that they had to pay child support for the child.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's called Wilson's Law, or I forget the exact term, but it's in Texas. So I want to do that here. So what I need to do is come up with petitions and have people sign up and hopefully pass it into a law and pass it up and get it passed in Congress
Mhm.
or the Senate or the
Mhm.
legislation up in Sacramento. So I want to do that. I want to do that here. So I'm pushing for that, and then I'm also pushing forward to making the law stricter because I feel like they say DUI convictions and laws is not as important.
Mm.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Like
that's crazy.
that's crazy that DUI is not as highly important. So that's why there's not stricter laws for it. So it's crazy, and that's why I'm saying like it's so crazy that there's no repercussion because it. Some people think I'm like, oh, I'm intoxicated. I know that. I acknowledge that I'm so drunk,
Mhm.
but what's the worst gonna happen to me? Get
Yeah.
locked up? Spend the night in jail? All right, I'll take that risk instead of just like thinking of like, look, if I get in a car accident, like if I go behind a wheel, kill, God forbid, like kill somebody or kill myself, like that's what I would think people were thinking that, but they don't. And that's why I'm trying to use my story to kind of like let people know, like, dude, like this is what can happen to you if you decide to take that risk.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did reach out. They're like, man, like I used to drink a lot. Like I was a heavy drinker, and seeing your story like really changed my mind. And there's actually people that reach out to me that they're like, dude, I stopped drinking
That's
because of your
awesome.
story. So hearing that, like it's a good thing. So for me, it's just
Yeah.
like I want to continue doing that. I want to continue like telling my story, and that's why I always share my story.
Yeah. That's awesome. Open up the phone. Put the banner up for the phone lines. We're gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines and get
Yeah,
some
for
calls.
sure.
But as we do that, though, I want talk to us about because I know you're very enthusiastic about writing a book now.
I do. I want to write a book. I want to write because there's there's a lot of stuff that has happened to me
Mhm.
since the accident that I don't really share uh much in public, but a
Mhm.
lot of things has happened. It's from like family and um my wife's family, like things changed a lot. It changed a lot, and it's understandable. It's like grief is very different for every one of us, but I went through way much stuff like that people don't know about, and I feel like writing a book, I want people to know exactly what I went through and the struggles and the battles that I had to fight to this moment. And I hope that, with my book, I'm able to kind of like people to see like behind the works of like all the content that I ever put out, like the face that you see in front of you, like what has happened, like backstage. Like
Yeah.
that's what I kind of want to do.
That's cool, man. That's real cool.
But uh it's so far it's been a blessing. It's been good times and bad times. I mean, there's times that I'm able to let go, like of that grief. Is I remember going to work, like sometimes I go to work actually. Sometimes I'll drive and a song comes on, like she was a she loved Coldplay. She loved the Smiths. She loved, that was the one thing that we shared. We love the 80s music, so the Smiths, the Cure. So sometimes driving to work, boom, Coldplay song comes on, or um Morrissey comes on, and it's just like start, my brain starts thinking like, oh my gosh, like, like all the good times, all the good memories we had. And then sometimes I always think I'm like, say like I'm enjoying that moment with my daughter, and I'm like, man, like if only my wife was here to enjoy it with her and stuff. And that all those things hit me at that moment, and I
Yeah.
cry, man. I cry like, dude, I, I bet like people look at me and they're like, what is this guy crying for? Like at, at 8 in the morning, but
Mhm.
that's like my me time. So then I'll come home, like go to work, and I'm like red eye, like from crying. And thankfully, like my job, like they understand my history. So they've been so like supportive with my journey as well. And
You're still doing X-ray technician?
yeah, I'm still doing like ultrasound and stuff. Like, so I work like in an imaging center. I also do like help with administrative stuff. So whatever I could do to help out. But it's really nice because it gives me that flexibility to be with my daughter. So it's like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, like standard job. But it gives me the evenings and the weekends to be with my daughter and spend time with her. So usually weekends is kind of like our me time. So you'll either catch me at Disneyland with her or, doing some fun activities with her. But I always try to make special memories with her and stuff and try to, um, kind of, you know, build memories. Yeah. I would say just brighten up her day.
That is so cool, man. Because I was just recently looking at your Instagram and stuff, and I would see people. I'd see like just your adventure, and it's like you said, don't let the smile fool you. You know what I'm saying? And people that don't know your story, they just see a great father enjoying his moment. But I was looking at the things, and I was just like, I was mixed emotions to tell you the truth, James, because I was like, man, 'cause like I said, I have two beautiful daughters, and it breaks my heart to think about, you know, being in that position without my wife, and it's like sometimes when I was asking you about, did you have any younger sisters and like that? Because there are times when I was forced because my wife would go to work early and I'm forced trying to comb my daughter's hair, and I get so frustrated. I was like, I'm just going to comb it back in a ponytail. That was their famous hair,
Yep, yep.
their hairstyle for me because I couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Oh no, trust me, I'm the same. I'm the same. I'm like, all right, we gotta go. I'm like, ponytail it is. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's just do our best, and I feel like with society now, it's you're like admired for for what you do, and it's so crazy to me because there's so many like single mothers out there that are doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't get acknowledged like I am, and I'm just like, no, like I'm just doing my job as as a father, like any parent that would do as a single parent. So I shouldn't, trust me, I love all the love and support, but it's just like I'm just doing my job. Like
Mhm.
we all deserve that. So if you're a single mother, like raising your
Mhm.
child on your own, like I give you so much respect because it is tough. Yeah, like you said, like sometimes like it's
And
you know
it's hard just with one daughter, man. There's some single moms that have 2, 3,
Ooh, I know.
4,
Yeah,
4
when
kids, you know what I mean?
exactly when I hear that, they're like, "Oh yeah, I have like 3 kids. I'm doing it on my own." I'm like, "I don't know how you do it because I could barely handle one." It's hard, but man, I give all the women respect because they take both responsibilities with head on without no complaint. You
Yeah.
don't never hear them complain like, "Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it," and they they do it. They do it when um, without any struggles and
Mhm.
yeah, I admire that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, and just real quick, we did open up the phone lines. The phone number is 626-367-9275. That is 626-367-9275. Be sure to call in, man. Show the brother some love, man. And what I was going to ask you, James, is, you know, through all of this, at some point, did you seek any kind of counseling, anything like that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm gonna take this call for you
Yeah,
real
for sure.
quick. Hello, thank you for calling in, Tri Families. Hello, hold on, don't hang up.
Hello,
Okay, there you are. Who are we speaking to?
this is Mrs. Godinez.
Oh,
Thank you, James, for coming on the podcast and for sharing your awesome story. It was heartbreaking. It was really hard to just um kind of just take everything in, how you described your brokenness. I mean, when you talked about, walking with your wife, to the store. Me and my husband Jojo used to do that.
that's my wife.
I remember because we had we we needed, I just needed a walk, and so I kind of was visualizing that. And I remember, kind of being kind of creeped out about the cars, the just the street, like, oh my gosh, but I know that um that day was a nightmare for you. And man, I just thank God that, he was able to give you your miracle child. and that, you're just, your testimony is going to touch a lot of people as it has. And I just thank you for just opening up and just being real, And I know that the best is yet to come, James, that God's going to continue to give you the strength that you need to be that great father, that great example, that great community leader, and that just, continue to do what you're doing, brother, because you're touching a lot of people, either indirectly or directly. And that just, you have a lot of people rooting for you, and you're not alone. And I'm sure you've seen that, you've heard that through the comments of your Instagram, and even how you how we met with you, my friend Irene, tying you into with Jojo. And I mean, there's networking happening, but I just want you to know that you will be in our prayers. And Jojo did say correctly, when we saw your story in the news, we broke. I mean, I broke, he broke. It just hit home, and we did pray for you, and we didn't know you, but we did pray for you. And I believe that a lot of people did, and that's probably the strength, the spiritual strength that you needed during that dark time to get you. You don't know how you did it, but you did it because God was there with you, and it's in our trials and tribulations where God shows up. And I know that he showed up for you and for your daughter. She's such a beautiful little girl. And I thank you for sharing your story. I thank you.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all your love and prayers. And oh man, you made me tear up over here too.
I know, you made me cry. You made me cry. I was like, oh my God. I kept on being like heartbreak. In the chat, because I was just like, oh my God. But man, I'm gonna meet you one day with Irene, and we got to do dinner.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, shout out to Irene. She's been
shout out to Irene, you and Antonio, your family.
Yeah,
beautiful
Irene
family.
Luna. Yes, Irene Luna. Thank you so much for making this happen. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, like I said, I never thought that my story would be so impactful like it is. And for you to be so touched, and it's, for me, it's I'm still at awe sometimes, uh, and that's why I felt like that's my purpose in life. I feel like now that I went through this tragedy, and you said sometimes, um Jojo, you said, like, you don't know why God does things, and how it happens, but I'm a believer in that. Like, God always has our purpose, and sometimes we don't know it, and we have to, come on, go whole lives to finally realize our purpose. But I feel that I I never was like, why'd you do this to me? Why'd you do this? Why did you punish me? I never really had that mindset, because there's always a reason why. I mean, I might not understand it now. Maybe I'll understand it in the future of why it happened this way, or why it had to happen. But I always say, I even told my wife too, it's like, we always have to see the positive in everything, even the worst case scenario. And in this sense, I see the positive is that I have a beautiful baby daughter, and she survived with me, and now we're together, and the only purpose that I know now is being a great father, and being inspiration to others, and hopefully be using my story to help, in whatever way possible. And I want, for you to, those kind words, and how it touched you, like, it means a lot to me, because I'm not telling my story just because it's actually being impactful. And that's exactly what my intentions are. I want to be able to share my story in a good way, in a positive way, and be able to help others. And thank you so much for all the love and stuff.
And it's also shedding a light on the DUI driver, and the disease that they carry, or they have, or or the neglect to realize that it is a disease that they have to deal with, and that they have to deal with more sooner than later to avoid these type of tragedies to occur. You know what I mean? And you're right. You're in the right path to making these sharing your story. And changing laws so that no one has to be in this position again. I mean, unfortunately, it's not going to happen overnight, but at least you're shedding the light to that drunk driver, like you shared, that they're changing, that you've changed their heart, you changed their ways because of your story. And that's like in and of itself, like life changing for somebody that could have been hurt through that drunk driver being driving and possibly a death. So thank you very much. I mean, I just want to call in and tell you that um, you, I know that it's like everybody says everything happens for a reason, but only God would evolve as your journey progresses in life. What that reason was, and the reason was for your daughter to grow up with a great man of God, a strong man that's not afraid to take her on and not give up, and continue to just be that role model that she needs to see. And I know you mentioned that you will never be her mom, or you would never substitute a mom. But you know what? I was in a situation where I had to be a single mom for a lot of years, and I understand that. I totally get you when you say I can't be a mom to her. Well, I couldn't be a dad to my son, but you know what? We did it. God prevailed. God showed us. And again, at one point in time, the fruit is going to show through their lives. You know what I mean? Through them growing up and them being blessed and them knowing that we never failed them, because we've always been there for them. But I'm taking too much time with this call, but I just wanted to thank you again, and you be blessed. And I'm sure we're going to meet in person one day shortly.
I look forward to it. No, thank you so much. I'm always open to meeting everyone, and least thing I could do is for all the love and support. We haven't met each other, but for you to be touched by my story and continuing following support, like, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, and so many people that continue supporting me and being there for me. I'm truly blessed. I'm truly thankful, because I have a platform where I can be able to have a voice and be able to make an impact, even just by the random acts that I do with my daughter. Seeing her so happy, a lot of people always admire that, and it's just I hope that every action that I do is not, it's not for bad intentions. It's always good intentions. I always try to build beautiful memories with her and be able to kind of show the world, like, hey, even though this happened to me, I'm still smiling, still being there, and still trying to build a beautiful life for our future. So thank you so much for all the love and support. Thank you so much for the call. It's truly amazing. And I look forward to meeting you and hanging
Amen.
out. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. 1,000%. We'll make a date.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.
All
Thank
right,
you, babe.
bye-bye.
So yeah, she really wanted to be here in person, but she's like, I'm gonna break down, babe. I'm gonna want to go up there and hug him, and she didn't want to be a distraction. But no. Like I said, though, we did pray, and I remember one thing she did. She went and she grabbed our daughters and our son, and she just embraced them, and like, like I said, man, your story really hit. It really hit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad though to see you going strong for your daughter, and just continuing on this journey, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna pull up an email, because, like I said, I want to be more involved. So I'm actually gonna be speaking at the tomorrow in Orange County for the victims. It's like a victim support event. I'm trying to get the details. So I'm gonna be a guest speaker. So I'm kind of opening up for Todd Spitzer tomorrow for the DA of Orange County.
Okay.
So let me get there. Trying to get the address. But it's it's a it's an opportunity for me to kind of uh, talk among all the victims and their families. So I want to be able to kind of reunite. I want to unite everybody, all the voices, everybody, because it's crazy. It's crazy, but we all know somebody that passed away because of a drunk driver.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, like somebody,
Yeah.
somebody. Maybe it's not your close relative, but somebody that passed away because of a drunk driver, and that's a crazy statistic. It's crazy to think about that way. If you really think about that perspective, and we need to change that. We need to make our streets safer. Like your wife said, like sometimes we afraid. Trust me, I'm to this day I'm still afraid to walk in the street because of that. Sometimes like because like where I live now, there's a bike path, but there's like two sides of like road because it used to be like an old railroad track. They converted it into a bike path. I when I would take my daughter, sometimes just hearing like a car like take off, skid or take off. I was like, look around. I'm like, okay, if it's coming this way, like where would I be able to be safe, or like where could I hide?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that's crazy to me to still think that way, and it sucks that we live in a society that like we're not safe sometimes, and it's and it's we need to change that, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to change that and be able to be use my story in a positive way and be able to um, change the laws. Maybe it's not going to happen overnight, but I'm hoping that my daughter will pick up where I left off. So if I'm not able to make a change, I hope that she can. I hope that she sees my journey, she sees like what I've been through, and encourage her to change and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for my mom. I'm gonna fight for her legacy. I'm gonna carry her legacy, and I'm gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I hope that she has a mentality, because she already does. She's, oh my gosh, she's so fearless, and she's such like my wife. It's crazy because sometimes she'll like get upset or she'll get angry, and I'm like, yep, that's your mommy right there for sure, for sure. Like just she's a boss baby, she's the boss, her personality, she's just like, she'll go into a room and she'll like be like, no, I want this, I want that, like she takes control, and I see that in her. And that's how exactly my wife was. She was so, even though she was tiny and petite, but she made a presence, and that's what my daughter does now. So for me, it's just like, I want her to be that. Growing up, I want her to be independent, strong, you know, fighter, like, and she already has those characters, and I know she's gonna do good in this world. I know she has a great purpose, and all I'm doing is kind of setting it up for her. I'm kind of leading the way for her to kind of just take over. I mean, if she wants to be the first female president of the world, of United States, oh, I'm gonna be supportive. She wants to be a police officer, she wants to be a lawyer, whatever she wants to be in life. Like, I know she's gonna kill it, and I'm gonna be there to support her in her dreams. And at the end of the day, no matter what she does, she's gonna make an impact in this world. She's gonna make a change, and I'm just excited to see that. I'm excited her to blossom and become the woman that she deserves to be.
That's so cool, James. That's so cool. And like you were saying, how you're gonna be a force, to get laws changed and whatnot. But I think you're encouraging a lot of other people to step up too and be like, you know what, like jump on board. Have you thought about making like a society or something like in honor of your wife or anything like that? Has anybody ever approached you with anything like that?
Yeah, I wanted to like kind of start like maybe like a foundation or organization for her, like for to honor her. And I'm definitely want to do something. So I want to be able to kind of start a like a, I would say like a group where people can unite, and especially for the cause that I'm trying to do, try to be able to make these laws stricter. But then also a place where if you lost someone, because of a drunk driver, not even a drunk driver, but you just lost someone, and a place where you can grieve. I want to be able to be like a safe haven for all of us, because no matter who we are, we're all human. We all have emotions, you know, and sometimes we're like, especially men, w- we're known in society like you can't be emotional, you can't cry, you can't, you know, you have to be that macho man, and it's not. It's so it doesn't supposed to be that way. Like we're supposed to be. We're all human. We're all supposed to be able to cry if we need to, you know, and that's why I feel like we need to create like more of a safe haven for all of us. They'll be able to heal and heal as a community because we're not alone. You know, like it's crazy. 'Cause people reach out to me. It's like, oh man, I lost my, you know, I lost my husband or I lost my wife too. Like, you know, sometimes I get stories like, man, how did you do it? Like, I lost my wife. You know, she was, my daughter was 3 months and she passed away suddenly. Now I'm taking responsibility. You know, I hear all those stories, and we shouldn't be alone. We should all be united. We all gone through something like that. So we should, and I finally found a place. So if you're in the area tomorrow, I'll be at the Orange County Crime Victims' Rights Ceremony, and it starts at 10. It's free for the public, so anybody can join, can be there, and I'll be sharing my story again. So you're more than welcome to be there. Uh, but I just want to take these opportunities to kind of shed light that, you know, that's why I love, you know, that's why I wanted to be on this podcast because I want to be able to touch and be able to share my story to everybody. It doesn't have to be a drunk driver or something related. Like I feel like my story can just touch anybody because we all lost someone, you know, and sometimes we're just so lost of like how do we process our past loved ones? Like how am I able to get through it? How am I able to continue? I lost my wife, I lost my husband, I lost my child. You know, we all lost somebody, and sometimes we're lost. And I always say, like, you got to find that purpose. You know, we got to find a purpose to continue going on. Right? What you're feeling is you're lost. You're lost because you have no purpose, no direction in life. And sometimes you feel like, oh, it's the end. Why am I continue living? Like, and that's why you shouldn't take that. You know, you shouldn't. You know, I could have been depressed. I could have been emotionally closed in the room and, you know, broken down, but I didn't, you know, because I found a purpose in life. That's purpose of being a father to my child, you know. So I try to help people find that purpose, you know, whatever it is. You know, you might think you lost it all, but you didn't. You know, you didn't lose it all. You still have something to fight for. You just have to find it. And I hope that I'm able to guide. So if I'm a person that if you want to message me, you can message me through all my social media platforms. Any any way possible, you know, send me an email too. I look at all my emails. If you guys want to reach out to me, I'll be more than happy to spread my share my email. And you guys be more than happy to reach out to me, ask any questions, whatever I can, any guidance that I can give, I'll be more than happy. Uh, and I'm always open to kind of sharing and I guess sharing like everything that I learned so far and through my journey.
And you know, what I've learned over the years is that, you know, the more you share, the more liberated you feel from, you know, the pain and the hurt. Of course, it's going to be there, but it's just, I don't know. I know for me, when I help people that have been hurt through, you know, incidents of my past lifestyle and stuff, you know, when I'm able to help them families, it gives me a sense of like, okay, I kind of feel like James, for me, that my karma is like it's pretty good now, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
from all the bad that I did as a young kid. And, you know, it just feels right to be able to help somebody now. You know what I'm saying?
It's your purpose.
Yeah.
It's your purpose. I feel like no matter what, our past is our past. No matter what we done, you know, that's our past. All we can change is the future.
Yeah.
You know, like how are you able to, like, you're driving, right? How are you able to focus on the road if you keep looking at your mirror, looking back? You know, like
Hmm.
you have to keep your head forward. No matter, we all have our past. We're not perfect. We're not perfect in this life. And what matters is we change our future, right? God does things, for a purpose. He wants us sometimes. I always said, sometimes he has to break every bone in our body to realize we need him. So sometimes that happens to us, to all of us, to best of us, that at the end of the day, we need him most. And no matter what we've done, as long as we change, and like bringing back to that topic, if I see the woman that killed my wife, if she changes, if she actually changes her ways of giving up drugs, realize what she did, and just have 100% like feeling that of guilt, then I'm saying it first, like I would go visit her in jail and speak with her in person. Like if I see that she changed, like obviously, like no matter what I do, we'll never bring my wife back.
Yeah.
She's gone, she's in a better place, and I just have to carry her legacy. But if this woman changes her ways, be able to acknowledge, like, look, I did wrong. And I could see it, like read it, and not just because she was trying to do it to whatever reasons, parole, whatever. No, but if she really honestly, like, as a person of God, like, she's like, I changed, like, I gave up drugs, I gave up alcohol, like, I knew what I did wrong, and we'll never bring her back, but I changed, then maybe, yeah, I will be willing to like meet her and just know who she is. Because I'm a person that, like, we all deserve, like, she had many chances. She had many chances to change. And that's why I'm like, right now I'm at that stage of like, no, I can't forgive. Like, she already had so many chances.
Yeah.
But if she honestly shows that she's changed from, like, actually because of this, then yeah, like, I'll be open, because I'm like, I'm at free at heart, and I'm not letting this ruin who I am, and possibly ruin the relationship I have with my daughter.
Yeah.
And my wife's family, they might have still the grief and pain, and understand that. But for me, I'm at peace. I have my daughter. I'm beautiful, beautiful daughter that keeps me joy, and be able to I don't know, change and be at ease.
I think there's somebody that's been trying to call.
Yeah,
I don't know
go
how
for
I
it.
got 4 missed calls. Let me see if they answer our call. Let's see. I don't know why it's not coming through, but watch it be telemarketers, huh?
Right.
Hi, hello.
Hi, this is Jojo with Trap Families. You're on the air. Were you trying to call us?
Yeah, I've
Oh, yes.
actually know James personally, man.
Yeah. How's it going, Kevin? How are you?
Hey, what's up, James? Hey, man, I just want to say, the guy next to you, man, this one of the greatest fathers in the short time I've known him, one of the greatest fathers I've ever met. Like I said in my comment that I wrote, man, just keep shining your light, be that beacon of hope for everybody, all the widowed spouses out there. I hope that people can see your story and just learn to rise above the depression and the grief that they're going through. You're seriously an inspiration to so many people, brother. And, just keep shining your light, keep doing your thing, man.
Thank you. Man, thank you. I'm not used to, like, so many people, like, being appreciative, like, of my story and stuff, but I'm truly grateful, that I'm able to inspire, and you've been a great friend, and he probably knows, like, I'm always true, like, I always keep it real, always, like, always keep it real. I'm always honest. I'm always like, I don't hold back. Like, I learned to be a person, like, I don't have to carry that norm of, like, how we have to act. Like, dude, if I'm emotional, I'm gonna be emotional. I'm gonna keep it real. And
exactly.
I guess he sees it, like, we go to Disney a lot. He's one of my good Disney friends that we go, and I'm always like, I'm always behind my daughter, like, running around with her and stuff, and making the best of it. But it's I don't know. I just continue being the dad and hopefully use my story to inspire people and change people's lives and be, like you said, be that beacon of light. So that's what I'm trying to do and use my story and my pain in a positive way and not in a bad way. Cause yeah, I could have just been quiet and just been another victim of a tragedy and another DUI case and another, person that lost someone because of a drunk driver, and that's it, and move on with life,
Exactly.
and life goes on and stuff. But no, I made sure that my wife's death did not go in vain. I make sure that her legacy will always carry on, no matter what I do, and do it through my daughter and all those special moments, and yeah, continue being that light. And trust me, I'm a person that this light is not gonna fade anytime soon. Like I said, the it's a closing of the chapter, but it's not the end of the book because
Right.
there's a lot to write about. There's still more to write about, and I'm gonna continue fighting, and I'm gonna keep being the fighter that I am, not just for my daughter, but for everybody out there that lost someone greatly, and just continue inspiring and be able to make an impact in this world. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the call, and much love. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, for
Yeah.
having us back, man. It sounds like you're a good guy, man, and keep supporting the brother right
Nah.
here, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. We all love you, James.
Oh,
we all
thank
love
you,
you,
brother.
man. Keep
Thank
doing
you.
your thing, brother.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
thank
one,
you.
guys.
You
All
too.
right, Kevin. Thank
God
you for
bless.
calling in. God bless. That's cool, man. So that's one of your Disney partners, huh?
Yeah, he's one of them. Like it's so crazy. It's a little story. Like, so I love Disney. Like I grew up with cartoons and stuff, and a lot of people don't know, but I can actually draw. I always wanted to be a an animator. That's what actually, growing up, a lot of people, they're like, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a cop. No, I wanted to be an animator. And I actually learned to draw because I once day want to draw for kids. Like me growing up, like what kept me happy was watching cartoons. So I was like, man, I want to do cartoons and make another kid happy. So I knew how to draw, so I always loved Disney because of that. And then now, like with my daughter, I teach her to paint, so she's painting, she's learning to draw. So I'm trying to like teach her little techniques and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So kind of teach her, because um so I was like, oh man, what fun activity that we can do together, because she has a lot of energy. If you know my daughter, she has so much energy. If I would have brought her here right now, she would have been like running around, tripping wires, and probably cutting the broadcast early. So, but she has so much energy. So I was like, how can I use up that energy in a positive way and I can enjoy it too?
Yeah.
Let's go to Disney. So I went to Disney, and I remember like going by myself with her, which is the hardest thing. Oh man, it's the hardest. The reason it's so hard going by yourself with her was restroom. Like obviously, like I haven't, like her being a lady, it's we're opposite gender, so I don't share that moment, like going to the restroom or showering or anything like that. So it's so separate, So I when I used to go, like, man, I'll be running home like after the long day of Disney because I've been holding it in to go to the restroom.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I couldn't take her and be like, hey, stand right here while daddy goes to the restroom. I never did that because I felt like it wasn't cool. I guess it's because, I don't want her curiosity to get the best of her, being so young. And I was like, no, I can't go to the restroom with her, and then bring her in with a bunch of guys and stuff like that. So that was always hard, you know. Then then all of a sudden, like I met this group that just came up. I remember one of the girls was like, "Oh my God, that's you! I follow your story, and it's been so impactful, and uh, you're inspiring." And I'm like, "Well, thank you so much." And we started talking, and then the whole group joined, and we were all talking. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just here with my daughter. By ourselves, we're just gonna have actually we had like reservations for dinner because I love to have little dinner dates with her.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
people always ask, like, side story, people always ask, they're like, well, um, do you miss, like, the married life or being in a relationship? I'm like, yeah, of course you do. You miss the romance and the connections and stuff. But then I'm like, but I don't miss it that much because I can be able to do special things with my daughter. I'm able to take her out on dinners. I'll go on, I always say, like, little dates with her, and we go to the park or we do all these fun stuff. And I'm like, I'm not really like hurting for a relationship. Like I have someone to spend, to build beautiful memories, and she keeps me busy. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm happy." So, like, met that group, and uh we just connected and we started talking, and every time we go to Disney, they're there. So they're like, "Hey, like, let us know when you go to Disney. We'll be there to support you." And they've been since then, they've been such a great friends.
Oh,
Like, that
that's
whole
cool.
group, they've been friends. Like, now some of the girls are like, "No, I'll take you to the restroom. Don't worry." And, like, they'll help me. Now and I'm like, "Hey, I gotta go to the restroom." They're like, "No, no, we'll watch her." And now I'm able to kind of take a little break and be able, to continue doing what I'm doing. So it's really nice to have so much support,
That's
and I
cool.
met such a great friends, and Kevin's one of them. He's been the homie. When we go to the parks, we always hang out, and I appreciate all of them because they have the patience for my daughter, because um she could be so energetic, and she'll, like, she's one of those that constantly just be like, "Oh, I want to go there," and she'll start running, and I'm like chasing after her. So if you see me running after running, it's because I'm running for my daughter. So, but yeah, she definitely keeps me on my tippy toes.
cool.
She keeps me alive for sure. And definitely tires me out for sure.
Well, James, man, we've been going at it for
Yeah.
almost 2 hours, bro, but
It's
it went
crazy.
by so fast, man. And that's
Crazy.
just because your story is so, it's so inspiring, man. And like I said, there's just a lot of mixed emotions, you know what I mean? But seeing your smile and hearing that you're at peace, man, I think that gives a lot of the viewers a little bit more, like, thank you, God, for watching over them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, everybody deals with tragedy different ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
me personally, I know people that have been in tragic events and they end up becoming alcoholics. They end up becoming
Yeah.
drug addicts.
Yeah.
They end up giving up on life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
a big portion was pulled from you. You know what I'm saying? Was literally taken from you. And thank God, man, for where you're at today. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're still, you ain't done going through the process, you know what I mean? And who knows when that will ever really take place. But thank God that he's giving you the strength through your little angel, man, your little miracle baby. And um just the little bit that you just shared right now, how she fulfills, that certain part of your life of entertainment and
Yeah.
engagement. And that's so cool to hear, you know what I mean, being on the outside, because a lot of times, people, we don't know the true story unless
Yeah.
we hear it. But it's like, man, poor thing, poor thing. And we'll probably still be saying that, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, man, this dude's living life, man, and he's going to make some changes, and his daughter's going to make some changes, for the better. And we'll definitely continue to pray for you. And like my wife said, we promised a dinner date with Irene and with you, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So we're definitely going to hook up again, man. And we want to, help sponsor whatever you're doing. And I just want to let all the viewers know right now that he does, a single father, it's very hard, and there's still, things that still got to be met, you know what I'm saying? And he does have a GoFundMe that's out there. We're gonna put his GoFundMe. We also have your Cash App. Is it your Cash App?
Yeah. My Cash App,
His
my
Cash App
Venmo.
and his Venmo. So we're gonna put that stuff in our description. So you guys could, whatever God puts upon your heart to support him, you know, um, try to look out for the brother, man, and especially for his daughter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be hell of expensive. You already heard she has a lot of energy, so she's gonna need a lot of things in life. So, I mean, if you would like to contribute towards her savings, man, that would be a blessing because she might end up going to Harvard, wanting to go to Harvard or something that ain't a cheap school or something. So, whatever God puts upon your heart, reach out and the GoFundMe. There's the GoFundMe, there's the Cash App, and there's the Venmo. So we'll put that up so you guys could definitely, put something in there, man. God bless you guys. And and what else, man? I just wanted to say that thank you for coming, man. You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? Thank you. I know every time you need to leave her, um, it's hard, but thank you for being here, brother, man.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
I really appreciate it, man, and looking forward to meeting your daughter. You know what I mean? I know my kids are gonna fall in love with her because they remember the story. I mean, my older daughters remember the story.
Yeah.
And even when when I was kind of putting the reels together and stuff to kind of, promote today's podcast, they were already like, oh man, like so when they hear though that, especially when they see her, I know they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be like, that's right.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. No, honestly, like I look forward to meeting all of you. Like I always try to give back no way possible because a lot of people have been like supportive, and since day one, they've been like, man, I've been following you since the accident. I've been from day one, been following you. I appreciate you. I, man, there's no words because honestly, I would not be where I'm at without you guys. That's bottom line. And I always say thanks to everybody that always supported the community. I'm always open to meeting everybody. So I would love to meet your family and make that dinner happen because it's fun. And my daughter, my daughter is so open to meeting everybody. She's a go-getter. So she's really cool. And
Oh yeah,
she
she could hug us all she wants because my kids are gonna want to hug her. Watch, I already know because they're huggers too.
Don't mind that. Don't mind that. But it's been blessing. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
James. And you guys be sure to follow his journey. He's on Instagram, James Alvarez. Look him up. Look at that face. That's that picture on there. And follow along in this journey and support whenever needed. Because like you said, he's gonna be speaking to some other places. He could always use the support. Like you said, he's gonna, there's a foundation in the making. He has a book coming out by faith pretty soon. So, just follow along and, be a blessing, man. Be a blessing to this brother, to his daughter, and to the vision of helping other families, cope with, similar situations. And yeah, man, and keep him in your prayers. Most
thank you.
definitely. And his daughter, and that's it, bro.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, thank you. Also have a great opportunity. I think I'm in the works to doing like a documentary as well. So
oh yeah, that's right.
That's a possibility as well. So I'm open to it. As if I'm able to share my story to the world and hopefully change at least one life, I did my job. So I hope that I can be able to do that. And that's why I wanted to jump on this podcast to meet you and the fellow staff here. They've been all welcoming and I've been blessed to be here and be able to kind of use this platform to tell my story. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do so. And hopefully one of you listeners out there, if I'm able to touch you or change you in a positive way, then I did my job and I'm just blessed to be here.
Thank you. That's right. So don't forget, like and subscribe, share it, man. Let your peoples know about today's podcast, man. Be sure to share it. We'll be back next Sunday. I have an amazing guest coming on next week, man. It's going to be awesome. So please be sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. So next week you won't miss out. All right. God bless you guys. You guys have a great week. All right. Good.